This is a show for the leaders of tomorrow. You're listening to stories of innovators creating groundbreaking technology and change makers that are shaping the way we live our lives. I'm your host Hussain, and you're joining me while we're peeking into the future. Welcome to the Spark Podcast. Hi, welcome to the Spark Podcast. Our guest today is the Senior Vice President of Scorpius Trackers, a multinational renewable energy company based out of Pune. This company has implemented projects in Japan, the Middle East, Africa, and has upcoming projects in the United States and many parts of India. He's among the top celebrated leaders of the industry and has pioneered the growth of green tech in India with an experience of over 10 years. Please welcome Mr. Ritesh Pothan to the Spark Podcast.
Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here.
Mr. Pothan, let's get on with the first question. What is your company, Scorpius Trackers, trying to accomplish?
So, Scorpius Trackers is a global leader in single access tracking technology for solar projects, largely solar farms. We have our own R&D. We are the only company in the globe that has both types of technologies for single access tracking. Scorpius Trackers has been around for now almost half a decade, and we've been very innovative in our design. So it's a completely made in India, designed, patented, globally patented product. Advantage that we bring to the table is that we bring the highest quality possible. It's got cutting edge design, and it has a zero maintenance requirement from a mechanical perspective. The solar tracking is basically, just to expand on solar tracking maximizes the efficiency of a solar panel by making sure it's always perpendicular to the sun at all points in time in the day.
Right. And you speak of green energy with great passion, but your career, as we go back, it started with IT services, and then you transitioned to green energy almost a decade ago. Could you tell us a little about how this transition happened?
Right. So I did my computer engineering, then my master's, and I was also a writer in IT. I used to write for Chip magazine. I did a couple of blogs as well. And later on, I went on to be a consultant as well as a CIO. So from my perspective, when I became a CIO, I was not only handling networks in IT, I was also handling civil security, information security. There was a lot of responsibility that I had. And one of that was also electrical, where solar, around that time, 2009 was when the GNSM came out and solar was like the buzzword. And to be really honest, I was looking for something that gave back rather than something that always was taking from the environment.
Right. When you say back in 2009, this was when solar became a buzzword, especially back at that time. When compared to today, the market wasn't as mature. So what were the main challenges that you faced earlier in those years during 2009 when you transitioned into the green energy industry?
So it was very fluid, but I've always been someone who takes more of a pioneering attitude. I like the risk. I like the fact that it's a startup sort of environment. And that gives you a lot of opportunity to learn, a lot of opportunity to make mistakes, learn from your mistakes. So it's not something that's an established field where everybody knows what they're doing. And plus, it gave me a tremendous opportunity to learn. And that's what I always believe. I believe that if you're not learning, you're dead. So that's where I come from. So, and the way that it worked out, the initial challenges that we faced were obviously projects. Then the fact that because it was so fluid, most of the deals that happened fell through. Funding was a bit of a challenge in the initial part because you had to actually put your own skin in the game. That was one of the concerns. And then there was always the risk of new EPCs or new installations that maybe would perform, would not perform.
Your career has spanned across various industries and you've worked with many leading companies in their respective fields. What do you observe as the core differences between a green energy organization and any other organization?
Honestly, I think the green energy organizations now recently have become large. Previously, they were not that large. So they were like pretty nimble. Everybody ran after projects. They were able to complete it. There was not so much bureaucracy. It was easy to get in touch with the upper echelons of other companies. People would network together. It was more of a fraternity. And I think that is where the advantages came in. And it was not like it wasn't more there wasn't really animosity. It was more of a fraternity sort of where everybody wanted to get the work done rather than pull somebody else's leg. And that's something
Mhm.
that I think is, I mean, you're not worried about someone else trying to pull your leg, though lately that has been the credo right now over the last 2-3 years, because once the stability set in, the big guys started coming in, then they started cannibalizing and they started overtaking the market, right? I mean, not there's not enough for everyone.
You worked with many international markets. You've successfully implemented projects in Japan, in the Middle East, even Africa. How do we fare against the quality of skilled labor against other nations? The way our business is growing, the way our expertise is with solar, whether it could be about manufacturing or EPCs, how do we fare? Do we have the innovation that other countries have?
You want me to be honest? We are at the bottom.
And why is that the case?
Because I mean, we do a lot of jugaad, and that jugaad, I mean, a lot of people I've seen designers who are like a couple of years out of school, out of college, designing plants which are like 1,000 crores, and they are basing it based on just some irrational logic. And everybody, even I mean, it's in the beginning there was a lot of caution, there was a lot of safety built in, there was a lot of focus on the long term. Right now, the focus is completely short term. I mean, if the plant get built, that is a big thing right now.
And what are we doing to ensure that that changes?
So, I mean, as Scorpius Trackers, what we've done is we had a workshop where we called in a lot of the designers and we ran them through the kind of quality that you need to do. I'll give you an example, right? Most of the plants in India, I mean, all the structures designed in India have no basis, have never really been tested, and you will see a lot of them fly off when there's some heavy wind, because the
Right.
designers themselves don't have. They are designing on some arcane code which is like 50 years old, and it doesn't consider a lot of things. And for solar structures, because they act like they have an aerodynamic sort of profile, so you need to make sure that they are able to stick to the ground. So there's something called a boundary layer wind tunnel testing facility which doesn't have in India. That is something that nobody does, because they all claim on paper. It's like designing it on paper. I mean, designing a car on paper and saying, "Oh, it's working perfectly," right? So
Right.
that's the thing that we've seen. We've seen that people are willing to take that kind of risk, and because the funding. But if you do this internationally, that's not acceptable. They need bankability. They need to check everything. You need to have a wind tunnel report. They need to have a lot of things. Indian markets don't appreciate quality. Let's be honest about it. Indian markets don't appreciate quality. They're always
Mhm.
looking at price. So it's about price, price, price. Basically, the way that you should actually look at an engineering is first see if it matches the technical, whether the technical is good enough, and then move on to price. But in India, it's always price, price, price.
When you talk about the Indian market being sensitive towards price and not the quality aspect of it, and then you also speak about the quality of the engineers, the effort they're putting to design a product that will survive long run. Who's at fault here? Are we not trying enough to facilitate the kind of market growth?
It's more of an ethical issue. It's more of the fact that the Indian mentality is not professional. Let's be honest about it. Everybody thinks they know everything, so they don't respect a professional. That's the problem in
Mhm.
India. That's the bottom line. The bottom line in India is that if you're a professional and if you talk to someone, you say, "I don't know." They think that it's like a big deal. But as a professional, there are things that you don't know. That's where you actually realize. But in the industry right now, if you go to the industry, every engineer passes out from college, he looks at 3-4 plants and he knows everything. If you see a lot of, to be honest, there are exceptions. Of course, there are exceptions, but they get pushed down because the yes men tend to get pushed ahead, because at the end of the day, it's all about the bottom line on the Excel sheet, whether it works, and then converting that Excel sheet into a project. That's really not how it happens, right? I'll give you so many examples. Like some say that this code is not applicable. We don't care about the code. Who's going to check it? Who's going to do anything? So it's the mentality. Sadly enough, it's the jugaad mentality. Everybody knows about it. Everybody is aware about it, but it's the mentality that has a problem. That needs to change. The jugaad. I understand jugaad is good, but it's good if you use it with good engineering rather than just trying to make do with what you have, and then later on, that's dangerous. That's very dangerous. We are not taking into consideration the fact that tomorrow that there could be injuries, there could be safety issues. There have already been issues where people have died, but those get swept under the carpet. There have been issues where plants have flown off, but those again get swept under the carpet, right?
So the bottom line is there are no consequences to any inferior project.
Yes. I mean, if the boss says do it in this cost, and he says do it in this cost, he will try to make it lower to show off to his boss. Professionalism, to be honest, does not exist in the industry, at least in the solar industry. At the end of the day, how do you talk to someone who knows everything?
When there is such a rise in new organizations and new entrepreneurs who are coming up with renewable energy, what advice do you have in terms of the key requisites that you have to start and grow and sustain a renewable energy organization? Factoring in your first point of ethical business, what are the other key prerequisites?
I think it's important to ensure that you have your engineering done right. And at the end of the day, how does a person who's focused on quality survive? That's very difficult. I mean, yes, he can, but he will not thrive in the Indian market because there's always someone willing to undercut him at maybe 10%, 20%. There's no rationale, to be really honest. So if you really, if you see almost 80% of the guys who started up, everybody who could just maybe, who was an electrician thought that he could be an installer, right? Because they think it's just about connecting cables. But there's no real engineering. So there are some organizations that are doing that, but to be honest, the solar industry has gone through a downturn. In fact, it has dropped. Installations have dropped under the current government by almost 50% because there's no real incentive. The situation is very bleak. I would say stay out of it. But if you're looking to get in, you need to have good engineering. You need to have a niche market. You need to focus on what you have, and maybe you will have to ride it through. There will be times where it's going to be very, very difficult for you to survive, which is why most of the international organizations are refusing to put in projects. A lot of the top EPCs gave one of the developers a design which was, let's say, about 25 tons for a very high wind zone. When the developer got these EPCs to redo their design using a boundary layer wind tunnel, the tonnage increased by almost more than 60%. That's the kind of under-engineering that happens. And this is happening with some of the top names.
Mr. Pothan, you speak about government incentives and how the government slashed down prices of the solar products. We're also looking at the contrary. We're looking at government policies that have helped a lot of businesses. They've encouraged the growth of the renewable energy adoption. Could you name a policy that has helped your business in any way?
There are none.
Maybe not your business, but has improved the spectrum of solar in India?
Right now, I think there is some standards that are being worked in, maybe BIS standards, and the fact that that is a slow process. I think that will happen, but the standards need to be managed well. It needs to be, there are a lot of old things that need to be updated. That's very important. But last couple of years has been pretty bad for the industry. And I think moving forward, unless there is something consolidated done to push and to create, it's going to die a slow death.
What could we learn from other countries, and what policy can we particularly implement in India to enhance the growth of the industry?
I think we need to focus on feed-in tariff. We need to focus on quality. We need to have a balanced set of guidelines, something that promotes both quality as well as quantity. It does not only focus on price. A lot of things that need to be done, but it needs somebody with a technical and commercial grasp at the helm. Right now, from what we see, the government is being run by bureaucrats.
So in that case, don't you think that it's the responsibility of the existing solar businesses to lobby against the government for policies that could work?
Yes, so that is something that's had limited success, very limited success, and plus the industry right now is very it's not cohesive right now. Once upon a time that used to happen, but that's no longer the case. It is definitely something that's required, something that's necessary.
Right, Mr. Pothan, we've come to the end of the interview. One last question to you. What is one popular myth about green energy that you can debunk for us today?
It's only in India where people keep claiming that cheapest is the best. So that's the myth where people just install plants and they buy it at cheap rate, and then later it doesn't work. Then they say the technology is faulty. It's what you get, what you pay for. You pay peanuts, you get monkeys, right? That's you've got to understand that if you don't focus on quality, if you're just focusing on the price, at the end of the day, it's going to bite you.
Right.
So you pay the cheapest and it's like buying, you can't buy the Mercedes at a Maruti rate, right?
Right. So, Mr. Pothan, at that quote, we'll wrap up the interview. I would request you to give one advice to any entrepreneurs, engineers who are focused to be a part of the renewable energy industry and the leaders of tomorrow. Maybe the spectrum changes, but what advice do you have for them?
Be a professional. Don't be a jugadu. Be a professional. Yes, you can do innovation. You can do jugad. But that's when sometimes don't be a professional. Respect other professionals, right? That's the important thing. Have the ability to say that I don't know. It's okay. If you're a mechanical guy, you can't do the electrical design, right? I mean, you can do a little bit, but that doesn't make you a know-it-all. So be a professional. That's something that I would say to everybody that goes out of engineering. Be a professional. Respect professionals. Respect advice, and don't give the wrong advice. That's something that we've seen also. A lot of consultants just give advice because they just don't have an option. So look for quality. Be a professional. If you don't know, say no and give the right advice.
Right.
If you don't know, say no. Don't just give some advice.
And you heard that from Mr. Ritesh Pothan. He is the senior leader of Scorpius Trackers, a company based in Pune. He's been working towards sustainable and renewable energy for over 10 years, and his company has implemented projects in Japan, Africa, the Middle East, and multiple cities of India. Thank you, Mr. Pothan. We're sure our listeners have had an incredible value from this interview, and it was fantastic talking to you. Thank you for being a part of the Spark podcast.
Yeah, pleasure's mine. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Spark podcast. Sign up today to riojob.com and browse solar jobs, contracts, training courses, and much more. I'll see you in the next episode of The Spark. Till then, goodbye.